something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
Alright, we are going to be going through this vocal chain because there's a few little nuances, tips and tricks, which I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So, instead of interjecting, let's listen to this first chorus, get a vibe, and go through it.
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. We be getting dangerous, broken trust, lonely lust. But I ain't waiting on you.
Okay, so, especially in that first chorus, what's the cadence with the vocal? Okay, it's call and response. Vocals, bass. Vocals, bass. The thing is, the bass has a lot of energy. It's tempting, where especially at the start of the mix when there were no effects, to just push the vocals louder so that it matched the energy of the bass. But the problem with that is, you push the vocals, so they're much louder than match the energy of the bass, but then everything underneath the vocals, all the instrumentation, feels completely separated. And we don't want that. That's a huge problem. A lot of, like, even I still experience when it comes to mixing is getting your vocals to pocket inside the music and feel good. So, there's something I did here, okay? We're going to look at these parallel channels. I'll get rid of these 3 reverbs and 1 delay because we're going to focus on these 2 parallel ones here. Let's get these lead vocals and we're just going to play the phrase first and then figure out where's the energy. I'm going to tell you where the energy, I already figured it out, but where's the energy in this vocal?
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
Okay, it's consistent. Where's that consistency? We want presence in the mid-range, and a request of the vocalist was to have some strong body pull through. Now, you could EQ that, but then again, the EQ is going to do the same thing as just driving level. You're just going to drive it, it's going to be separated from the mix. Something I did is something I learned from Andrew Sheps in one of his pure mix classes, where he aims to pull out with an EQ the frequency he wants to focus on, compress it really hard, and then re-EQ that back, okay? And what I've got here are 2 parallel channels. This first one focuses on the mid-range, so I've got 5K boosted and 100 Hertz attenuated, some really heavy compression, about 10 decibels, and then everything is pulled back with this EQ. So what we'll do is we'll take a listen to this first. Okay, let's go there.
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
So that's all the mid-range, okay? And then the next one is all the low mids. So I'm boosting 100 Hertz, cutting 5 kilohertz, compressing the hell out of it, and then pulling it back together. So let's have a listen to this, this second parallel channel, all right?
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
Okay, and these 2 blended in with the original give me the flexibility to hold those frequencies in the mix a bit more stronger. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the whole mix and we're going to turn those parallel channels on and off as we play it. But what I want you to observe here, as in see these gain reduction amounts. You're going to notice the top end or the upper mids are going to control the compression of this mid-range one, and the body and the low mids, the plosives, everything in the chest is going to control the compression of the second one. So now let's take a listen to this call and response, and I'm going to turn it off and then on, and we're going to loop it twice over, okay?
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
I love the way it just brings the vocals forward, but it doesn't make them louder. It just helps fill out the space. So there's those first 2 channels. And just as so I don't lose any detail or people don't lose what I'm doing there, you boost the frequency you want to highlight, you attenuate everything else. You compress the hell out of it, and then you do the inverse on the EQ afterwards to bring everything back in. So all the compression is really focusing on are those frequencies you want that particular parallel channel to focus on. Now, you got that. The next thing was some reverb. Now, this reverb, all my reverb presets for Valhalla Vintage Verb, if you've got it, okay? I've got all these Valhalla presets I made based on contemporary songs I was really enjoying. This would have been like pre-COVID, or 2020, 2019, thereabouts. And basically what I did is I pulled the acapellas and then stripped them of reverb and then rebuilt the reverbs and compared them to the original and built a whole bunch of reverb presets out. I give these reverb presets to everybody on my newsletter email list. So if you subscribe to the best newsletter for working audio pros, not only do you get the best newsletter for working audio pros, you also get all these presets, which are fire. So this first reverb preset, we'll just get what's going on there. Okay, this first reverb preset I put on it was the same one from Snake Keeps All My Friends. The reason I did this one first is it's short. I wanted the main reverb to be short. And the reason why is I wanted to add like an artificial space. Okay, so it feels a little bit disorientating is a word. Actually, it's a perfect word for it. It's disorientating because you're not used to hearing these many modal responses so close in proximity to the main one. And that's what I wanted to get for this. So take a listen to this reverb. Actually, I might just play the reverb wet. One moment.
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
Okay, it's very short. It's very close. It confuses the ear a little bit. The next one was more of a request from the artist again, because they wanted some sort of, how do I put it? Like something that links the phrases into the music. So you've got the first phrase and then not like a big wash of reverb, even though that's what this is. But something that sort of almost is like a knot or a tie that sort of smoothens through the phrases into the music. I'm sort of compartmentalizing my concepts here based on how the directions this mix took. But this is like a 7.5 second long reverb with a massive pre-delay and then a huge sidechain on it. So take a listen to this.
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
Perfect. And then the next one was Echo Boy. Okay, and Echo Boy is doing exactly what I wanted to do. And that is just here. Very fast dual echo, 30 second note dotted on the left, 16th on the right with the tweaked style.
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
And then the final reverb I put on here was this one from, again, Lady Gaga Shallow's reverb patch I made on Valhalla Vintage Verb. And again, this just adds a beautiful texture to it.
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue.
Okay, now, the first half of this vocal chain is getting the energy to set the presence, and that's through these parallel processing, Andrew Shep's technique. I've probably bastardized the technique a lot to just make it fit my needs, because I watched that back in like 2019 or 2018, so I kind of remember exactly what he did when he put it together, but this is what it looks like for me now. Huge boosts and cut on the EQ, big fat compression, and then the opposite boosts and cuts on the EQ afterwards. So that's the first half of these vocal processing, and the second one is the utility of each of these reverbs and the one delay is to build layers of depth to the vocal. So this first one, this Snake Hips one, that's all about that short space, that disorientating sort of sound that makes it a little bit artificial in a sense. And then the Big Beck one helps tie in the phrases to the music. And this one here was just sort of a creative one that we went with. And then what we'll do is we'll play this with and without the whole vocal chain in. Let's go.
I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. We be getting dangerous, broken trust, only lust. But I ain't waiting on you. I need something more official. Really trying to avoid another issue. We be getting dangerous, broken trust, only lust. But I ain't waiting on you.
So there you have it, the vocal chain for this. I hope you can pull out two things, and one is the focus of the vocal using parallel, and the second is the use of layers to creatively flesh out the tone, as in different parallel layers to flesh out the tone of the vocal. Until next time, take care.